I had someone ask me today, what is it that I know about myself? And I really pause because typically the question that someone might ask you is, who are you? And as I reflected on this question, what is it that I know about myself? The answer that I've come to realize is that I am who I say I am, which has a fluidity to it. Now, when I think about the question of who are you, or who am I, who are you, if you're watching the video, which if you're hearing this, you're watching the video, so who are you? And could it be that who I am, who am I, is just the same as I am who I say I am? Which can be seen as a very convoluted and maybe to the wrong person, an egotistical answer, but as I view it, it's actually the most selfless answer that we can give because it allows us to be fluid. It allows us to be in the moment, to be here. Whoever I say I am, brother, son, boyfriend, you can say your employee, business owner, all these things that you might list off, leader, all these qualities that you might list off as to who you think you are, who I think I am. Well, they're all just made up. They're as fake as really anything else in this reality. Brother, son, boyfriend, employee, business owner, leader. Just making it up as you go, you can keep going. But I am who I say I am. It's infinite. That allows me to be whoever it is that I want to be, which is when we get into a deeper idea of living inside out. As opposed to outside in. So, okay, we got I am who I say I am. Now, if we have two worldviews that are available to us, separate or connected. These are available to us at any time, to be separate or connected. A separate worldview lives outside in. A connected worldview, inside out. The separate worldview experiences the world happening to me. A connected worldview sees the world happening through me. The separate worldview sees the world happening to me at all times. It's all happening to me. All these things in my life are happening to me. Who am I? Boyfriend, son, brother, all these things that we just make up to essentially try to get the arrows looking the other way. Don't look at me. The connected worldview lives inside out. It's limitless. Is I am who I say I am. The outside in is I am who you say I am. Which brings us to the idea that we live in a world where the default state is to experience the world as if I have all of these mirrors around me all the time. And what I see gets reflected back to me all the time. And I'm going to share a story about this. This is the essence of shadows, the shadow self, what Dr. Jung talked a bit about for his entire professional career, and what he's very well known for. But I bring this up because the other day I'm at the sauna. I'm just hanging out at the sauna. And I see this guy over there by himself. He's just hanging out. This is me. I'm over here. Now I see this guy, and he's just hanging by himself. Solo. Now, I have the thought, this thought goes through my brain. I think, how sad he is alone. Well, I don't know that to be true, but I have that thought. I have the thought of how sad that he's alone. And if I know that these shadows are always just a reflection back to myself, well, then it offers me the opportunity to look inside. What is inside that's offering me this thought? And what I got to was the idea that when my father had passed away in high school, my mom was a widow. And when I would come home, she'd be sitting by herself. And I would have the thought over and over and over and over and over again, how sad she is alone. Now I carried that thought with me all the way to the sauna guy. How sad that he is alone. Which, if we know that it's always just a reflection back to me, how sad I am alone. And it's the unconscious feeling of sadness, the unconscious energy of sadness. I could be alone and not consciously think that I'm sad. But these unconscious shadows carry with them an energetic vibration of sadness. That is until we just decide to shine a light on these shadows and through awareness. In which we break the mirrors. We break the mirrors so that we can look being in the face. We We break the mirrors so that we can look being in the face. And anything that I share is just through my own experience. I resist the temptation to do what anyone else is doing. Other people may inspire me to do something, inspire me to go in a certain direction. One of my clients inspired me to start making long-form YouTube videos, and so here we are, holding this pen like a crazy person, gripping it. That's what a lot of people do to life, grip it. We break the mirrors so we can look being in the face. So that we can look ourselves in the face. Because have you ever looked in a mirror? Well, we've all looked in a mirror. But you look in a mirror, and one day you think, man, I look really good today. Maybe even later that day you see it and you look, I look really bad. Or man, my hair is thinning. Or man, my skin is glowing. My teeth are white. My ears are big. The mirror, the mirror lies. The mirror lies. The mirror lies. And when we come into the awareness that the mirror lies, we can't be fooled by the mirror anymore. We can't be fooled by the mirror anymore when we make the choice not to. The unconscious urge to look into the mirror and believe it, or to look into the mirror when we feel that we need some type of ego stimulation. However, when we garner greater awareness or higher levels of awareness, when we garner higher levels of awareness, the ability for the mirror to lie to us loses its power. Mirror loses its power. And who are we giving power to as the individual, as the self? You know, my self. Separate them. My self. It's my own self. Thus, can I inspire myself? Or rather, my self. Separate, capital S, self. Myself. Can I inspire myself? If I can inspire myself, I no longer rely on the mirrors. I no longer rely on these mirrors to tell me who I am. Woo! Dang. I no longer require the mirrors, which is the world, the people of the world, to tell me who I am. Therefore, I can live inside out. I can create in whichever direction I so choose to go, because I no longer am subject to the mirror. I no longer need the mirror. I no longer have this unconscious desire for the mirror. Think about the mirrors that we grow up with that are implanted into our unconscious from the youngest age, particularly in school. We go to school, we give a grade, we get the grade back mirror, good or bad. Well then, okay, stay with me. We're connecting this off the rip. I go to school, I get a grade. I'm around all these kids. They're all reflecting back to me versions of myself. Thus, why do we think that the ego gets built up in adolescence as a safety mechanism? If the ego gets built up, we're going to have to hit a knee here. Ego gets built up in adolescence. Well, then doesn't it make sense that the ego is the same thing that tries to protect us from others as we get older? Because it's built up in adolescence to protect us, to tell us, no, you're an individual. You can do what you put your mind to. So children with very weak egos, well, they don't believe in themselves. The parent's job is to build up the child's ego in order to allow them to believe that they can do anything they want. And then when we come into an age that is more mature, we eventually realize that, oh, this ego, which has protected me my whole life, it's allowed me to be an individual my whole life, is actually now urging me to conform to what is around me. And thus, it becomes a matter of not wanting to control the ego. You know, everyone says, control your thoughts, control your ego, control this, control that. I don't wish to control anything. What if I just worked with it? Why would I want to control the very thing that built me up to believe that I can do anything? It seems as though there's great power in that. Now you could look at the thought of like master the ego, but you know, I draw the analogy of the parent who puts their kid on a leash. You ever seen that at the airport? Puts their kid on a leash. Why would that kid follow their parents when you take them off the leash? I'm going to control the ego through whatever means. I don't even know what that would look like to control the ego. I choose not to even venture down that realm. That seems like if I wanted to control the ego, let's switch it up. Let's go. Blue pen. To control the ego is the exact thing that we did earlier. We grip the pen like this. Control. I mean, think about the connotation. Control. I mean, it's a gripping. Tightness. Nervous. Uh-oh. Nervous. Nervous system. Nervous system. We'll call it dysregulated. Oh, so control and dysregulation, hand in hand. Boop, best friends. Wow. You know, you notice people who like are so fidgety, tap their foot all the time, tap their foot, look all around. Dysregulated, just not regulated. But the good news is that you can easily come into the awareness of choice, working with, and just move into a regulated state. There's no need for control. Because, this might be where we wrap it up right here. There's no need for control because, what are you thinking? Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Because I am who I say I am. Which leaves us with the question, of who are you? Or rather, who do you tell, your capital S self that you are? Because this self is the same as myself, singular. So who do you tell yourself that you are? I am that I'm struggling. I am that I can't have this. I am that I hate this. I am that this person did me wrong. I am that everything's going poorly. I am that I'm weak. I am that I'm tired. Or I am that I say I am who I say I am. At this moment, I could be simply